Good morning, Facebook and good morning, YouTube. Sean Webb, Desert Sand Educational Foundation Director and Director of Communications. I'm here this morning as it is morning coffee with Mary, and we've got a special guest today. We've got Chef David Wood, who's joining us, and we have Chef Mary. Come on, first.
Good morning, Mr. Webb. You're breaking up.
Good morning. I see that. I'm wondering why.
Now you're okay.
I wonder if what I'm going to try is leave studio, then come back on. Okay, Mary, maybe that'll fix things.
Okay, you're okay now.
Is this any better, Chef Mary?
That's much better, yes.
Oh, okay. Every now and then, we always have a little hiccup here with technology. You never know. Yeah. So how have you been?
I am doing well. I am somewhere in the United States today.
Looks like you were in the same area as Thursday or Friday, actually.
I could be very well. I could have been here and gone and come back again. But otherwise than that, life is going along well. Glad to see some of our fellow restaurateurs opening and business starting to happen, and people are eating out. And I swear, I think food tasted better yesterday than it's tasted in the last 3 years, only because we haven't eaten out.
Okay, so you guys actually ate out yesterday.
Yeah, we did. We actually ate out. It was a great experience. They complied and with everything. Service was great. Food was great. It was just good. It was really good. It was good to be out, and they were glad to see their old customers back.
Okay.
And there was a lot of people waiting to get in. They were all observing, standing where they needed to stand. They had their face masks on.
And where was this that you went out to eat?
We went down to Little Italy, to Mimo's.
Oh, very nice. Over in Little Italy in San Diego. Okay.
Exactly. And he said they'd had a busy weekend. They didn't kind of know what to expect.
Okay.
So Monday was a little bit slower, but there still was a lot of people, walking dogs and people with strollers and bicycles. It was just nice. It just felt that it was alive.
So I haven't left the Coachella Valley at all since this whole thing started. Tell me, like, when you're walking around in Little Italy, are people in mass, or is it kind of okay?
Well, some people were, and some people weren't. Okay. But everyone was not. I mean, if they were walking together, they were either a family or a couple.
Gotcha.
People were. If somebody was coming and they felt that their space was enough, they all moved away and made space.
Yeah.
And did it politely and without being obvious. The servers kept their distance, but it was comfortable.
Okay.
It was actually, when we talked with Chef Reese and Mitch with Biff about the social aspect of it, they captured the social aspect. It was a really good time. We didn't feel like we were sort of stuck in a corner.
Gotcha.
They had outdoor seating, but they only opened up 3 tables, and the tables were way apart from the other people.
Gotcha. Okay. So now, were your servers in masks and gloves, yes, or were they just okay?
Masks and gloves. Everybody in the restaurant was in masks and gloves.
Okay.
And they were in the routine of changing the gloves often.
Yeah.
Although we all kind of know that you can get used to gloves and they become a false sense of security.
I was just going to say that, Mary. A lot of times people say, well, I had gloves on. Well, it's the same rules. You need to keep sanitary.
Exactly. And he said that the gloves are really, hard to come by. And they also had portable or disposable masks already when the people came in. They they handed them, whether they had one or not, they just handed them a small one, similar to what the airlines will give you. Okay. And they fold down, they actually fold down like a napkin, and they open with little paper, things that go over your ear. They felt they didn't want to embarrass their customer by refusing them service.
So at least, so they have something minimal there.
Yeah, and that was acceptable, by the county. Apparently, they were looking at local ordinance and county and health departments to comply.
Definitely.
It was really good. I mean, I was really surprised. I was a little anxious when we got there because we, driving down and walking, and you kind of don't know what to do. But they guided everybody through it. They have disposable paper menus, So the menu that you got was the menu that you kept, and then when we finished eating, you cleaned your table, and they had trash cans there.
Oh,
And
really? Okay.
You just picked. It was almost like when you're at a fast food restaurant. You put all of your stuff in the trash can, and then when we left, the gal came and wiped down the chairs, the tables, the table legs, before they even let anyone approach the table.
Wow. Okay.
So it was good. I mean, he said it was a little more work, and it was hard the first day getting into the routine.
Definitely.
Otherwise, it was great.
Well,
I had lasagna.
oh, you had lasagna in Little Italy. Of course. You can't go wrong with that.
Good, yes. And a lot of wine.
So, okay. Very nice. I wish I could have joined you. Well, speaking of like different foods and cuisines there, and you also showed me earlier that you made a cookie. Chocolate chip cookie. Oh, wow, you have a whole tray there. Well, that kind of inspired us. And I see Chef David there kind of itch at the bit, ready to get in the room here. I want to bring on Chef David Wood. Mary, you know Chef David from when he was substitute teaching when you were a chef.
I do. He was an excellent person to work with, and loved his stories about the restaurant where he also worked at as a server, and he makes soap.
Yes, he does. He makes soap. Hey, Chef David, how you doing today?
Hi. Good. How are you?
Good.
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Chef Mary. Yeah, good to see you.
Yeah, good to see
It's
you.
wonderful to see you. Hey, I'm going to plug your soap. I ran out of soap, and I had the soaps that you made. I had them in a little dish. And the other day, I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't have any soap. And I look over there, and it was wonderful. It was like, how many?
Now you know how good it is, but the students are making it now.
Oh my God, yeah. This was a blueberry watermelon or something like that, or blueberry. I don't know what it was, but it was awesome.
Good.
What I liked about it was it was over scented. You know, when I washed it, everything, it was really good. It's smooth. So thank you for that present of like 2 years ago.
Yeah, you're welcome. Well, you can get more. The students are making it to be another fundraiser. Instead of selling chocolate bars, they're making the homemade soap, and we're going to be selling that.
Oh, that's awesome. That's
and Mary, I'll share that at our our gala that we had for the foundation. Not only did the students come over and help out Chef Mark Sickenberger and all the feeding stations and so forth, the students at La Quinta High brought over their bars of soap, and I want to say they sold at least a couple dozen.
I think 75.
75 bars of soap at $5 a pop.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
not bad. That was a great little fundraiser for you guys that night. But, Chef David, we have you here. We want to kind of highlight some of the things that you got going on. And before we even go into detail about what's going on with the program, I want to share this video that we have that you have your students doing some chef demos and so forth, and they're submitting them. But this one's a short and sweet one. It's only about a minute. I thought it'd be kind of cool for us to watch. So I'm going to play it here. All right. Now, David, maybe you could tell us, is this a freshman, sophomore, junior? Who?
This is a freshman,
okay.
I think.
Oh, wow.
Well, it could be a sophomore, one of the two.
Okay.
But,
Still getting to know your students, I know that.
What's really interesting is about this video, is the different camera angles you see, like that breaking the eggs over the bowl. A lot of creativity goes into these, and they're all different. So you get to see a lot of great ideas from different people.
Yeah, definitely. I'll tell you what, your website has got so many of these, and I'll make sure to share that in the comment section, your website, so people can take a look at it, because on your website, I want to say you have at least 7 or 8 of these videos of all different various levels of caliber of students in cooking and so forth.
One of the kids, well, this project was was done so that kids could be cooking at home, and these students love to make videos. They like to use technology and things like that. So this was a great project for them. They're cooking, they're making demo video. I did make it give them a choice. Maybe some of the students couldn't do a video, so they did a slide presentation about some world cuisine to get to know world cuisines that they didn't know. And there's some really nice presentations that they did.
Okay, and I actually saw the world cuisine videos as well. Those are the world cuisine slideshows. Those are fantastic as well. Yeah, definitely. I'll be honest. I'm half Korean. I stayed on the Korean one for a little bit and kind of looked at that.
Yeah. And I mean, the kids learn something new. That's the whole point, is that they learn something that they didn't know before. Right. So, it is hard being a culinary class and being at home and not in our big, beautiful kitchen at school. Right. But we're making do. And when we get back in there, we've got lots of plans of things to do once we get in there.
Definitely. We kind of jumped right into it. And we talked about student demos and so forth, and we shared how you were a substitute teacher in the program for Miss Tucker when she was out on various business and so forth. Maybe you could give a brief intro. Who is Chef David Wood, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I've been in the restaurant business my whole adult life. Okay. While I've been going to school and everything. Now, about 10 years ago, I decided that I wanted to get into teaching. So I went to school and got degrees and things like that for my teacher preparation. In that time, I was a substitute teacher for Desert Sands, and came across one day I was the substitute for the culinary class. So I got to know Chef Mary, worked right alongside her, become acquainted with Dr. Tucker, the old instructor, and then I would come back quite often to be a guest teacher, substitute for her, while I was preparing to get my teaching credential, which I got in social science. So I was going to be a history teacher or economics, whatnot. But you were there when the position opened up and said, hey, you better go over there and try to get in there. So I did all the footwork, and here I am. And it's amazing.
There you go. I love it that you're in there cooking, and you're, because I want to say you were trained at Culinary Institute of America at CIA?
No, actually I wasn't. I did an apprentice type thing. So I actually didn't, I was enrolled to go to culinary school. This is years ago. And the restaurant that I was working at, and I had learned every station of everything in the restaurant from the owner, who's the executive chef. And they opened up a restaurant 2 doors down. This is in downtown Detroit in the theater district. And like I said, I was enrolled to go get my paperwork and stuff from culinary school, but I learned at the restaurant. So they made me the chef of that restaurant. So I started working as a chef, professional chef, but learned from a restaurateur in Detroit, who's an executive chef.
I gotcha. And Mary, you could definitely speak to wearing different hats in your career.
Oh my gosh! I mean, I started out in finance. I'm a bean counter at heart. And, I went into the computer industry, and that led into a job in the travel industry because I was their meeting planner, and that ended up being opening a bed and breakfast. And then I went to culinary school when I was 60. I'll tell you that. I was the oldest student in the class, and Chef Kai was my instructor, and I still see him all the time. And he was this little whippersnapper, and I rolled in there, and I think he thought he had Methuselah in the back seat because I think everybody else was 19 and 20. And I went to school and graduated. And then when I came to La Quinta High School, I saw a newspaper ad that they had posted about the kids being in a ProStar program. And we had just come back from Germany doing the Culinary Olympics in 2000. And I called Mrs. Tucker at the time, Dr. Tucker, and said, do you ever take on volunteers? And she almost drugged me out through the phone. And that's how I started, David, like you, as on part-time in there, volunteer. You were as an instructor, but I kind of got my feet wet. We were in the old classroom, 7-Eleven.
Right.
And eventually, Sean offered me the position, and then I came in as the culinary instructor. So it was nice to come in and be there part-time and just get a feel for the lay of the land, and then to come on full time, I felt pretty comfortable. And then it was just a pleasure when you would come in and we'd work with you, and then watching the kids do soap. And the day that we did that food and wine festival, and we had to pair out all of those ingredients for that food, and you were back there with 2 cups of this, 1 cup of that, and it had to be boxed and labeled and listed. And I was so thankful you were there. And I thought, you had such patience to orchestrate that and to get that shipped in and whatever. That was pretty awesome. So we didn't want to do that again.
For those that are listening and watching, what Chef Mary's talking about is one of my last years at La Quinta. We were in charge of putting all the demos together for all of Palm Desert Food and Wine. And Mary, I want to say that was at least 30 plus demonstrations that we had to set up for the full weekend, where you guys were piecing together, and we had the students piece together. And it was great for measuring and you know, putting all the products together, but measuring out every single ingredient and putting them in little cups and for all the demos. Yeah, definitely. Now, Chef David, I want to say, when we did that with the students, they're probably seniors now. Maybe you could talk a little bit about some of your seniors and some of your students and what they're doing in nowadays.
Well, we've got a couple of seniors that are going off to the Culinary Institute in New York, CIA. And there are a couple of different students that are getting into the military, but plan on doing culinary in the military too, which you can imagine is a big deal.
Oh, definitely.
You know, I can imagine cooking on a aircraft carrier for 1,000 people at lunch, 2,000 people at lunch every day.
Yeah.
Would be interesting. But let's see. Some students have been working at restaurants around the Valley, where also we were just getting connected with the Renaissance Esmeralda right about when the pandemic started. So we're going to have a kind of a partnership with them. They want to get our students over there to work and get some hands-on experience at the Renaissance Esmeralda.
Yeah, that's fantastic. You know, to have one more flagship hotel to partner with is fantastic. I know for years La Quinta Resort has been a partner of La Quinta High School, and they still are. And now to have another flagship Marriott, the Renaissance, to reach out to do something like that, that's amazing. I'm not sure if you caught it the other day, but we had she was probably a student when you were substituting. Jaden Weaver was on with us, and she went straight from high school to working full time at the JW at junior year. Wow. And she was talking about how being in the program has exposed her to these restaurants, these resorts, and so forth, that led to jobs. And that was just outstanding that she was able to speak to that. She's 20 years old, lives on her own apartment. Mary's remarkable, right? 20 years old, has her own motorcycle, has her own place, and she's married. Yeah, that's what scared me the most.
She's up for supervisor. She went from cook 1 to cook 3, and in the junior year, she's been there 3 years, I think she said.
Yep.
And now she's in a position to apply for a supervisor spot. The same with Itzy. I think the last time I talked with Chef Andrew, she was now a cook 3 as well, at the La Quinta Resort. So she's moved up the ladder quite a bit. I mean, they've done well.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, we're trying to...
go ahead.
Oh, Chef David,
sorry.
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was watching your cookie recipe, and because I'm not a baker, well, I've been baking at home because I have nothing else to do, and unfortunately, it's all on my body everywhere. But I found a chocolate chip cookie recipe where they use cardamom in it, as one of the spices. What they did with the butter is half the butter was turned into brown butter, and then the other was regular melted butter, and then blended together. And the change in the cookie is incredible. It has this depth of flavor, and that brown butter gave it this nutty flavor. It was basically the same recipe, but they just added those. Because I've been playing around with that. How you have to have the kids try it. Do brown the butter on half the butter measurement, and then regular melted butter on the other side of it, or softened butter. And then I made my own churros. Ate them all.
Chef David, maybe you could share a little bit about what's going on in the class and what you guys have been doing differently since March 13th.
Okay, well, we've been doing our online classes, still learning about the same things, but in a different way. There are some great online platforms that let students interact. Nearpod, Edpuzzle, I use. You can take a video, for instance. This week we did a quick little lesson. And last week, students, there's a video from the Culinary Institute of America where it shows a freshman student going through and showing you what students learn in their first year at the Culinary Institute. And they're going into classrooms, or it's a little documentary, it's 10 minutes long. But we can take that video and I can insert questions and things and other interactive things into the video And so it's an assignment. So kids
Okay.
get to see that. Now, the interesting thing was, and I wanted them to see that at the Culinary Institute, they're learning their first year, the things that we're teaching them already. So
Okay.
we're
Yeah,
like
that's-
teaching the same things they're teaching at the Culinary Institute, the same topics, the same techniques and things like that, to really get people ready. And, you know, the girl that you said was at the Marriott, you know, that's the point of our program, is that students can leave high school, and even if they didn't go anywhere else to another school, they could go right into a professional kitchen like the Marriott and just be ready to go.
Oh,
And
that's
that's
awesome.
the one thing that the resorts have expressed a lot of interest in, getting to know us, getting involved with us to take advantage of that.
Oh no, you think about it, we'll just become a pipeline for them.
Mm-hmm.
And they can come in there and just kind of have people audition and so forth. You know, one of the things they do at Amistad High School, I'm not sure if you're aware, Chef, but they have an amazing automotive program.
Mm-hmm.
And then being located over in Indio, at the end of the school year, they typically have all of I-10 Automotive employees and staff come over there, and it's almost like a bidding war on those students because there's not enough mechanics in the desert.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
there's definitely a shortage of hospitality workers in the desert. That's why they're building that COD campus over in Palm Springs.
Mm-hmm.
And the focus is going to be hospitality. So that's just fantastic that you're able to get these students ready for college and career ready. Oh, you got something, go for it.
Something else. So we're doing dual enrollment with COD this next year. So 2 of our classes for the the sophomores and the juniors will both be dual enrollment. So when they complete those classes, they'll get college credit in the culinary program at COD.
Oh,
so that's great.
Fantastic.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, we're going to start the students making their own kind of digital portfolios.
Okay.
We already started last year, but they're going to follow them through school and be able to add to these portfolios, highlight all their skills. They could show those portfolios to employers, and they would know right away, look at all the skills that the student has. So
You think about it, food photography it's a thing, right?
it's most pictures on the internet are food.
Right. And I want to say, Chef David, I follow you as well, and I love all the stuff that you post with your photography. And it's not 100% food, but food photography is just amazing. And to get students ready for that in the culinary world, it's definitely a smart thing to do. Yeah.
Well, you know, Chef David, a compliment I'll pass on to you because it involved some of your students. I think about like a year ago, we did an event with Chef Oscar, and he hired some of the students, and they all had major individual roles to play, from manning a food station or doing a salad station or serving. And people came up to us later, the servers that we hired from Spheron and those kind of places, and said they were amazed at the professionalism your students had, how well trained they were, how polite they were, they understood kitchen protocol, and how they interacted with the guest. And that was a real compliment coming from a seasoned professional server to compliment a high school student from the program. So it does make a difference, and they are seen. And it was just like a fine-tuned engine. They came energetic. They were happy to be there. They got paid well. And then at the end of the night, they helped clean up, and we made sure everybody got home. But they stayed a whole night. They never complained about how long we were there or the work, or they came in uniform. And that attributes to what I think you do in that classroom, is to give them that foundation, those basics of how to have kitchen protocol or culinary protocol. You know, how to respect you as a chef, how to respect, your culinary chef, Felicia, other students. That's important. And when you have them in your workforce, you know that you're not going to have them poking each other and doing something crazy. So that was a really good compliment to you and the program. That's what you're turning out. That's really good.
Now, Chef David, I have a question for you. One of the things that Chef Mary, as well as Miss Tucker, always brought up, that how can I say it, that the kids don't have this sense of urgency when they're in the kitchen. Do you feel that that's still there, or do you feel that that's kind of shifted out of the kitchen and they do have that sense of urgency?
Well, sense of urgency is something they're definitely going to have to get us when they get onto the job too. And I know that since the kids are practicing, sense of urgency will come a little bit later. By the time they're seniors they should have the sense of urgency down. And, you know, one of the culminating projects is to have a pop-up restaurant at school in the senior year. So that's where the rubber hits the road, because these kids make a menu, they come up with the food, the dishes, the menu, they print them, they have a concept for the restaurant, but then all the faculty comes in to eat lunch like a restaurant. So, you know, they only have 40 minutes to eat lunch. So they have to run this like a restaurant, and it's actually a restaurant for a day. And so they should have their sense of urgency ready at that point when the real restaurant opens up for an hour at school. And they do a great job, and it's very popular with the teachers.
They do a fantastic job. And I'll tell you, the one time that Mr. Magnera reached out to me where he said, hey, invite some community members. And I immediately sent an email over to the city of La Quinta, and boom, 4 people immediately said, we want to go, we want to go. And as soon as they got back to their sites, their work sites after the meal, I remember I had carne asada fries that day. I don't know, I'm not sure which senior was in charge of the restaurant, but I had carne asada fries that day, and they had some other choices. I get a barrage of emails, not just from the 4 people that showed up, but from like 16 other people that said, we want to be on this email list so we can go in and participate with the seniors in their programs.
I couldn't believe one of the last pop-ups that we did. I mean, they gave me a shrimp po' boy sandwich. I couldn't believe it. I was speechless when I was eating. It was so amazing. Just very proud of what they were doing.
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely.
You know, I think what I found out when we were there too, in the very beginning years, when I would meet with the other chefs from the other hotels and ask them to, you know, critique the students that they had hired, they said that they were lacking in multitasking, because our classrooms were geared to do one thing and one thing and one thing. And so we started to develop a program where they had to make 3 or 4 things, even if it was like a deviled egg, a sandwich or whatever, to be able to coordinate 3 different things in case they got called away. And that was something I never even considered, because we were just trying to have them do one thing well, instead of trying to do several things well. And it was quite a challenge the first couple of times we did it. And then I think the program just basically carried it on when we started doing the cooking competitions, and their when they all competed that year, that Biff and Melanie were the judges. That was really fun. That was a really good fun thing for them to do, to choose a menu and then cook it and then have it judged by their peers. But we always had fun. Like we did St. Patty's Day, and we did Mardi Gras. Of course, my parents are from New Orleans, so I was really happy to do Mardi Gras. But it was just good to introduce them to other food and how they made it. And each person had a recipe, and we talked about the ethnicity of the community and how the food got there, and you know why they cook certain things, and then they all ate food, because a lot of these kids would go, I'm not going to eat it. They would go, just taste it, and they would go, oh wow, that was really good. I really like that. So that program gives them the option to think outside the box and to be somewhere other than in Southern California. So it was good.
So Chef David, we're coming up on here on 30 minutes. Is there anything you'd like to make sure that you touch upon before we wrap up? As well as, is there a message that you'd like to say maybe to some of the La Quinta students or the staff that you haven't seen, or anybody in the Desert Sands community? This would be your opportunity to kind of wrap things up.
Well, you know, we're going into the second year that I've been here. I'm excited about trying new things. We've got dual enrollment in 2 classes coming up. We're going to get as much hands-on experience as we can through the showdowns and other we do catering. You know, we actually are a professional kitchen. That's what people don't realize, that like our kitchen is licensed by the state, and we cater things. You know, that's how we do some of our fundraising, and you help with that a lot. So, I mean, there's a lot of real world stuff going on, and that's what we're trying to do, is to get them ready for working in a real restaurant. We do have a real restaurant because we're selling things.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You guys do some great things.
I have a question for you, Chef David. Are they still doing the magic napkin in the football French fries or the football bread?
I don't know.
That yellow napkin?
They don't. I don't think so, Mary.
I don't think I know about that.
There's a yellow napkin that has some sort of Egyptian bug on it that was in that steel cage. And the first time we put it out, when they made all their garlic bread, we put it as a liner, and they won the game. And we just jokingly said that must be that magic napkin. And the next time it didn't get put in the thing, and they lost. So
Oh no, I need to find the magic napkin.
Let's see, probably when you get back, those guys are going to be gone. But it's yellow and sort of a turquoisey, greeny color with that Egyptian bug, like it's like a locust or something.
It's a scarab, probably a scarab beetle, if I know my Egyptology right. But I'm going there. I'm going to school tomorrow, and I'm going to look for that because I have to do some end of the year things. So I'll be at school, and we'll be handing out the senior cords, the culinary cords, to the seniors that are coming by for their graduation outfit, and I'll look for the magic napkin.
Well, I was fun because we were trying to give the kids a sense of having fun with it and tradition and remembering things. And the first thing we started looking for was that yellow napkin. It was just great. It was great working with you, and I'm so glad that you have the program, and I'm glad you're there. I think it's incredible. Look forward to working with you at some point, coming down and saying hello when we all get back to being outdoors legally.
Yes.
Before we close out, I actually do have one question, Chef. In regards to reopening, America, as things are happening right now, and restaurants are opening and so forth, have you thought about any extra, things that you have to do in the kitchen for when students come back in and so forth, when you guys reopen? Or are you still waiting for specific guidelines?
We're waiting for specific guidelines, really.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, I want to know.
I knew the answer to that before I ended the questions. Yeah, we were all waiting for those guidelines. Yeah. But while I got you here,
let me just say one thing. We have more hand washing sinks than anywhere in the school in our area. So we have the cleanest hands in the whole school.
Yes.
I know it. I remember I had to instruct the custodians to put soap dispensers in each and every one of those, and stations to dry their hands and so forth. I do want to give the opportunity to show your website here real quick. I was able to kind of link it up, so I'll bring us all on screen here so we can see that. But this is Chef David's website, and I'll share the link here on Facebook as well as YouTube. And if you get an opportunity, these are the world cuisine slideshows he was talking about. I won't click on that, but I want to show you that if you keep on scrolling down, the entire website has all of his different cooking demos from his students.
That's awesome.
From the students. I might have one in there, but kids made pierogi by hand. One student has a 20-minute long demo video. He baked a cheesecake. And that's a freshman.
Wow.
I mean, it's amazing. I was so impressed. A freshman baked a cheesecake for the demo video. Yeah, we've seen pancakes and cookies, all kinds of great stuff. Paella.
And as you share, these are.
I think when you believe in those students and you believe that they can do that, they can do it. They just need that little push that says, "Hey, you can do it, and it'll be fun." And we all make mistakes. We have different taste buds. Different things happen. But
we want to get
they'll go for it.
We want to get a YouTube channel going with cooking demos and things like that this fall. So look for that, kind of our own YouTube channel. And I haven't talked to anyone yet, but I have heard that Indio High School has a great TV production department. So maybe we can do something where they make the videos and we do the cooking and we do demos together, or something like that. That'd be fun to do.
That is an absolutely fantastic idea. I love that you guys are thinking about working with the other programs to develop those types of things.
Yeah.
And know that not only Indio but Palm Desert has a great program also.
Palm Desert.
For film and video and so forth. But like I said, we're up past 30 minutes. I do want to kind of close this out here. Chef David, is there anything you want to say to the La Quinta staff, community, and so forth?
Oh, just, I am I feel incredibly blessed to be part of the La Quinta High School faculty, and the people that I work with, yourself and Chef Mary and everyone that I've met. It's just amazing. The students love being there with the students every day. So we just want to make it more and more interesting and more effective at teaching kids about culinary arts.
Exactly.
Well, Chef, I agree completely, Chef, and you're doing an outstanding job. And just say the word when you want us to kind of add some more things to your plate. I can definitely keep you busy if you want. Definitely, Chef Mary knows firsthand. Chef Mary, is there anything you'd like to share before we close out here, Chef Mary?
Well, I want to thank Chef David for carrying on the program. It was a long effort to get it really up and running, and then to keep it going, and then to improve it and encourage it, and really make those students shine. I think that's critical, and it takes someone like you to step in and just pull it off and make it really, really a working situation for them. And I appreciate that.
Well, thank you. And I have to say, you were there working with Dr. Tucker, Mrs. Tucker, and so you retired, and Chef Felicia Benavides is working with me now every day, and she's in the kitchen. None of this could be done without her. She's great with the students too, and lots of knowledge, lots of experience. A pleasure to work with. So Chef Felicia, shout out to her, because we couldn't do this without. It's not a one-person job. It's so much.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So what we'll do is maybe next week or the week after, we'll have to try and get all four of us on here, or all three of us on here with Chef Felicia. We talk about some events and so forth. But until Thursday, Mary, I will see you then. You be safe.
I will see you Thursday.
And try not to break the law too much, okay?
I'm going to be in my car with the mask on.
All right. Well, Chef Mary, I'll see you Thursday. Chef David, be well.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thursday. Bye, guys.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so I ended the live broadcast.